It's a terrible commercial. They've chosen a particular crime in which there was a white woman who is the victim and apparently black perpetrators. That's the ad they want people to see, particularly in the suburbs. That's part of the entire racial tinge of everything that's being put out by that PAC.
All right, that's Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker complaining about an ad put out by a political action committee called People Who Play by the Rules. One of the other things the People Who Play by the Rules has put out is something called the South Cook News. It arrives in voters' mailboxes. It looks like a newspaper, like any other newspaper you get in the mail, except it's essentially a political ad. Handcuffing the police, Illinois' new rules of criminal engagement, opinion, magnificent mile turning to murderous mile. Former Chicago chief of detectives, violent offenders, given a get-out-of-jail-free card. Governor Pritzker and others and those on the left have not been happy with the South Cook News, to say the least. Dan Proft, local radio host, runs People Who Play by the Rules and joins us now. Dan, always appreciate someone who's willing to come on and talk about something people are saying that they've done wrong. How is this not the epitome or definition of fake news?
Because nothing in the newspapers is inaccurate. And we've challenged Governor Pritzker and everybody else on the left who's decried the newspapers to just point to one single story that is inaccurate, that's factually untrue, that contains material misinformation. They don't like the angle that we're taking on particular stories that we cover and the choices, the editorial choices we're making on stories. But that's very different than saying that anything is inaccurate. I don't like the editorial choices the Chicago Tribune or the Sun-Times takes with the stories they cover and how they cover them. But
are you guys on to something, though, that's different? Because the trust in local news outlets is much higher than in national news, much higher than in cable news. You can understand how people would get this paper that you all do a good job putting together and say, oh, this must be accurate, unbiased attempts at journalism.
Well, there's no such thing as objective journalism. There's no such thing as unbiased journalism, because your worldview goes into the stories you select and how you choose to cover them. And we're transparent about that. In the About Us section in the newspapers, we say, look, we have a particular worldview. We are interested in advancing certain public policies. And so we're honest about it in a way that these quote unquote objective news sources are not. And by the way, this is not something, these newspapers, not something that just started during this campaign season. These newspapers have been around for 7 years. The Chicago Press Corps is well aware of the newspapers. They've complained about them before, but now they're pretending for the purposes of politics that these newspapers are sui generis for the campaign. We've done hundreds of thousands of stories over the last 7 years in all the editions around the state that we produce.
So is there, I'm thinking about who these are targeted at, because you think about Democrats are doing the very same thing. This is from Axios. Dems swing state local news ploy. Writers for D.C.-based media operation run by prominent Democratic operators are behind a sprawling network of essential local media outlets churning out Democrat-aligned news content in midterm battleground states. Why is it that these work? Is it that an older generation who's not as savvy about news reads this and thinks, hey, maybe they're onto something for both sides?
Well, I don't know that David Brock's newspapers work. They probably don't, much like talk radio doesn't work for the left, because everything is already coming from the left. I think they work because, number one, the news stories that we write provide context and consequence to people's lives about what's going on in a way that a lot of the network affiliate newscasts and the traditional legacy dailies do not. I think we provide angles to stories and information that you don't get from left-leaning or left or not so leaning, just hard left news outlets. They're all sharing a brain, and we're providing a different perspective on some of the issues that are salient in people's lives.
It's an interesting point you make about David Brock, the fellow from Media Matters, was a right-wing activist, then went over to the left. I got 30 seconds. Why is that the left doesn't work on talk radio? Is a very popular radio host. You might have an answer.
Well, I just think they don't have much to say on the merits of the salient issues of the day. They're just conspiracy theorists about what the right is. I mean, they're just name calling.
Yeah, no,
it's just name calling, like we get from Governor Pritzker. You just heard it there in your intro. It's just name calling.
Hey, you'll understand better than most. We got to run. It was good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Leland.
All right. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.